Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Distant Worlds Universe, episode 2 for the series. Last time we left off, I had gone over all the settings for the actual scenario, generated the game, and here we are in our own little personal galaxies, the humans. Let's take a look and see what we've got. So here is our home planet. We'll click on that. Continental moon, 30.6K, quality 91%. I like the fact that we're orbiting a gas giant. I always love when that happens because this could be a very early source of some gas, some fuel. Very good there. Human population is sitting at almost 4 billion, rising at 4%. That's pretty nice. We're going to have to lower that tax as usual to boost that population. Which I'll do in a minute. I want to take a look at the actual solar system. So let's see what we've got. Okay, we've got an artifact down here on this world. Tower of Sol, very cool. So this is the Sol system, which is nice. Another continental planet, 25.5K, quality of 90%. You know, all the test games that I generated, I never got the Sol system. At least I'm almost sure I didn't. So I think this is a rarity actually for me to start in the Sol system. Resources, 90% polymer. Okay, what else do we got in this system? Another gas giant, a frozen gas planet. All right. Doesn't look like, well, we might not have any fuel source in this system. Hopefully we do. I mean, we're going to have fuel sources from these gas giants, but we might not have the one that we need for the early stages. Over here, we've got another planet with artifacts. This is a pretty cool planet, an ice planet with quality of 16%. However, look at that scenery bonus, 60% from the ice rings of Sol. That's a huge deal. Going to give us an early resort base in the beginning of the game. And then 2 barren rocks here, hopefully containing some precious metals, some steel, some lead, some gold. And then we've got this light cruiser over here. Pretty awesome. Wow, 450 firepower. Definitely something we want to pick up. No hyperdrive, but we'll pick this light cruiser up. That pretty much gets us a pretty early, powerful ship that we could maybe break down for technology or keep it and make it part of our fleet. I think we'll keep it. That'll be the best bet. Where is the frigate? There it is. Okay. Oh, it's a destroyer actually this time. Okay, so we got a destroyer over here as well that we can pick up that is actually fully repaired. So that's what we're looking like. Now let's take a look at where we are in the galaxy. So we're actually, I would say, almost dead center, right? 8 and H. So almost dead center in the galaxy. Like literally just right there. That's pretty awesome. This is going to be a really fun game. I mean, starting right there in the center of this galaxy, it's going to be unique. You're going to be surrounded on all sides. I like the way that this formed. Every single time it forms a little bit differently, and this is pretty unique, especially because you've got these long gaps right here. And let's see, right here. Kind of some long gaps there. It's going to create an interesting scenario. There's also very little stars in the middle for the most part. So it's kind of going to be a bit of territory between alien races that are trying to control the sections of the ring, and probably lots of battles in the center that we're going to be a part of as we try to fight over dominating the center of the galaxy. I like this situation we're in as well because we've got enough stars around us that we could start looking at early colonization, but not so many that it's overwhelming. And there's also some gas pockets, some gas clouds around here that could be some really useful early places for gas mining stations and refuel stations. So that's pretty useful. Also got a supernova star and another supernova star, so probably definitely worth checking out for maybe scientific purposes. Yeah, definitely overall a good start. So real quickly, what I like to do in the beginning of the game, get it out of the way, is open the game editor. Now, I'm not going to look at anything else. You got to be careful with the game editor open. If you zoom out, you can really screw yourself up because you'll see where all the other races started and everything. You don't want to do that, so you just want to stick right around your home planet if that's what you're going to do. We're just going to rename this to Terra. Close that, and we're going to close the editor before we see anything we shouldn't see. So there we go. Yeah, if you ever get the editor open, don't zoom out or anything early game. You can see all the races. I made that mistake once and it ruined I had to restart a whole game because I don't like knowing where they are. So it kind of ruined the game for me. But there we go. So we've got our planet of Terra. It is the Imperium. All right, let's get the game kind of rolling here. So it does take a lot to sort of set up, but now that we're here in the game, we're going to get that ready to go. So you can see the different UIs that are all set up. That's kind of cool. Pretty interesting to see all of those. Lowering that tax percent down to 0. So that way we can start growing our population. We'll see about near the end of the month what that actually is going to start increasing to. Going to want to increase speed early on in the game because the early game is a little slow. And let's take a look at design. So something really cool is I actually went through and redid the models. I didn't redo them, but I downloaded a package and inserted it into the human race and gave the ships all new, a lot higher quality models. They look really cool. So I'm looking forward to using these for this campaign. Now let's go into state ships. Actually, let's go into state bases. It's going to be the very first thing. We're going to go with a medium spaceport for our first base, and we're just going to stick with MSP for medium spaceport. I don't need to put 1 there though because we're going to go with a Mark 1 as our first design. Actually, not even. I'm just going to call it medium spaceport because it is the very first one. All right, is there anything I really need to change on this right now? Probably not. I don't think there's anything in particular I have to do. Research out or reactor output's pretty good. Firepower is actually already really high up there. We're looking at Type 1 missiles, and that's it. Literally just Type 1 missiles. Sensor, basic proximity array. So we do have the basic sensor. I guess I could add that. Oh, it's already got one. Okay. All right. This is all a little bit different. So I'm just kind of messing with it. Different than what it usually is. Could put some pulse blasters on there. I almost feel like it should have it. I feel like we should have less missiles. So we'll take off 10 input, 10 pulse blasters. And I think that's honestly all we really need right now for the medium spaceport. So we're just going to save it as is, and let's get that constructed. Medium spaceport, 13,000 credits. Going to run us a pretty penny there, but there it goes under construction. All right, let's take a look at the research tree next. So here is the new research tree that we're going to be messing with. A lot larger, you can already tell. And if we scroll over to the side as well, just a lot of things added. A lot of different paths added, kind of changing what we need to do to get to certain places. Very cool. So this is all brand new to me. I haven't messed with this research tree at all. So I'm going to probably fumble a little bit with how I actually move things forward, but hopefully we'll get there and things will be all right. So let's go back to weapons real quick. We're going to be going for the blasters and lasers, and we're going to be going for torpedo weapons. We're going to research some of the other weapons as well, but I'm going to focus primarily focus my research power towards beam weapons, blasters, lasers, and whatnot. And the torpedo energy torpedo weapons and such. So that's the plan. What are we researching right now? Armor plating, yes. So let's get the armor plating, and then we'll go for the enhanced beam weapons and energy torpedo weapons. As for energy, going for those shields early off in the game. I'm not sure if that's really what I want to do. I'm actually going to change that. We're going to go for energy collection. That's pretty important because that saves us a lot of money and fuel in the long run. And then we'll go for shields. Especially because I'll be building everything early in the game. I want to get those energy collectors on there while I'm still working on them. Okay. Oh, and then high tech. Yeah, I think enhanced planet surveying is going to be the most important one that's going to help us our early game exploration. So might as well get it done and get it out of the way. After that, a big one that's going to be important. It's going to be medical systems and entertainment systems. Give us that boost to happiness, which we're going to need to help boost our population even more and to help us with allowing ourselves to tax our empire or our colonies more as time moves on. After that, I'm probably going to make an almost direct shot for the Wonder, the Trader's Bazaar, because that gives you a huge boost in colony development and colony income, and the annual maintenance has actually been dropped to 1,000 credits as opposed to 10,000, which is what it is in the vanilla game. So this is going to be a huge thing we've got to go for. So we're actually going to probably try to push for that. Maybe not right off the bat because it is 960k, and I think it's actually usually 480 or something like that. So that's definitely gone up. So we're probably not going to push for it too quickly, but we are going to start slowly working our way down that path. We got to get that before anybody else does, because that'll make a pretty big difference if we do. All right, let's allow this to build because that is going to take some time. And whilst that's building, it's not building right now because the game is paused, but let's get our exploration ship set up. All right, we're going to keep the name Pathfinder because I like that name for exploration ships. We're going to get rid of the EX1 because I'll remember what Pathfinder means. And the very first Pathfinder ship is not going to have any mark to it because it's the very first one. And we're going to add some engines to it. Increase the speed by, let's see, we can get away with 15 of them. So that'll give us a cruise of 30. That's important for the early game because we don't have any warp drives. So it's going to be our only form of getting around, and we want to hurry up and get warp drives as fast as possible. So we want to get those engines up and running as fast as possible, get the speed boosted. Some crew support, some life support. There we go. I don't need anything else right now. We're just going to stick with that very basic design. It is 201/200. Can I get rid of probably one of these? It would be fine. All right, so we'll keep that as is. Another thing I actually need to do now is a research station. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a research station that encompasses all research. So that way I only build one instead of building 3. So we got the research energy lab. As far as I'm concerned, browsing the forums and everything, nobody's found a reason not to do this. It does seem to work perfectly fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 weapons labs and 3 high-tech labs. A little bit of life support. And some habitation modules. And that's it. Just keep the missiles on it. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to mess with anything else. And then we're actually going to change this to a general research station 1. And that should be fine. And we're going to construct that. Let's see. We'll just put it on the outside here. Actually, this side. So GRS1. It's going to say Energy Research Station, but you're looking for that GRS1. So we're going to construct that there. That won't actually get constructed until after the spaceport. Did I actually build it? It didn't look like I did. I didn't. Okay, hold on. Okay, there it goes. It built that time. Hopefully I didn't build 2 of them. Oh, I did. Oh, crap. Okay. That's fine. Not a big deal. We'll just scrap. So I kind of ate that income, but that's okay. There it is right there. Alright, so now just waiting for that to get done. Let's go take a look at here. So we got to take a look at our leader here. He is, oh my goodness, that is terrible. Hopefully he dies. Hopefully he dies really quickly. Colony income, pretty good. War wariness reduction, okay. Troop recruitment rate doesn't really excite me or anything. But the trade income, diplomacy, high-tech research, civilian ship construction speed, just all really, really crappy traits. He's also got courageous. Okay, so that gives him those, xenophobic, and okay, so those are his traits which are giving him these stats. Colony income does upgrade, which is pretty good, but still, other than that, he is a crappy leader. We've also got an ambassador. Obviously, we can't put him with anybody because we don't have anybody we can do that with. For these guys, we're just going to put them in counterintelligence. We have nothing else for them to do right now. Our spies, that is. And then we've got our general. We'll just station him on the planet's surface and keep him there for now. How's that population going? Okay, getting an 8% increase. That's pretty good. Keep it that way. Hurry up and get the spaceport constructed. Yeah, you can see the whole like different UI change and everything just looks really good. And I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, so started some pretty good resources on here. The emerald crystal is going to be pretty useful. That's usually pretty hard to find too, if I remember correctly. It says common, but I'm almost sure it's not that common. Look at that. That's a really cool looking space station. I really like these models. All right, so spaceport constructed. Let's click on the spaceport and actually get some things queued up. So we're gonna build ourselves. Ooh, we actually don't have the credits to do it right now. Okay, what are we working on? We've got our energy research station. Okay, let's quickly boost the taxes up. We'll go all the way up to 25%. That'll keep us okay. And get just enough money to build a few exploration ships. And then once we get that money, we're going to lower that again. So general tactic in the game for getting money, lowering that population or lowering that tax income, increasing the population, then raising it again. The reason for this and the reason that this is so important is because the population affects how many taxes you actually get. The higher population, the more money you get. So you want to make sure you increase that population as fast as possible. Lowering your taxes increases your population growth, so that'll help you do that. So for anybody that might have been wondering why I'm doing that, that is why I am doing that. So did get our research facility, however, did not spark a random event of getting a scientist, so that kind of sucks. I was really hoping for that, especially with our increase for gifted scientists, but it did not happen. We're just gonna have to put up with that. All right, so build 2 exploration ships. All right, now we're gonna lower our taxes back down to 0. And we'll see over here, you'll see it jump back up, probably up to 8%, should be. Maybe 9% now, because I actually did see it spike up a little bit. Oh, 10%, even better. Even better. And doesn't our leader give us a negative, was it growth or? No, just trade income. Okay. Very soon here we'll be getting our first ship. Our first exploration ship, which will be pretty useful. We actually have to build a construction ship as well. And to do that, let me go into the design screen real quick and actually make sure the construction ship is good to go. So we'll do an auto upgrade real quick, manually upgrade that. We're just gonna call it the not shipyard. I don't like that. We'll just call it the constructor. That's fine. Honestly, the cruising speed is insanely high for this thing. So that's higher than my exploration ship. So I'm just gonna keep that. That is really high compared to the usual 18, which is what I'm used to seeing. So we'll just keep that what it is. So I guess we'll just keep everything how it is in here because it looks perfectly fine. Okay, so that is fine. We'll keep that the way it is. I do need to get one of them built, so let me actually quickly raise this again. It's just easier if I type it out. Just so I can get enough to build a constructor, and then I'll lower it. And we'll just keep going back and forth as we need things. So 3,123 credits is what we're waiting for. There he is, a new scientist. So we do got our first scientist, which is very good. High-tech research plus 12%. Pretty useful. I'll say that. Let's put him on our soul research facility. Give us that nice high-tech boost. I think high-tech's going to be pretty useful. I would have actually preferred energy, but high-tech will work out because that'll get us towards the Trader's Bazaar a little bit quicker. So overall, not bad. As for this ship, how's it coming along? Pretty slow, actually. Are we... I want to say we're hurting on resources, but I don't really know how that's possible because it's early game, so you should technically start with pretty much everything. So I'll just let that keep going. The Unleash Extended actually does make the game run a little longer and take processes, or make processes take a little bit longer. The reason for that being that a lot of people felt that the game just rushed you too quickly and the end game came too quickly. So that's probably why it's taking a little bit longer. Ship construction speed's probably a little bit lower. I'm okay with that, to be honest with you, because I like taking my time. So when it comes to playing these games, I feel like it just adds to the immersion, adds to the experience. So it's all good for me. There we go. So starship constructed. We have our first starship ready to go. We've also got enough money to get our constructor. We're going to need that in the beginning to build our mining stations. So let's lower this tax back down to 0. There we go. And here's both of our exploration ships out and ready to go. So we are building that constructor. Let's send one of these exploration ships here to this actual gas giant, see what he is made out of. Hopefully it's something useful. And while he's doing that, we're gonna beeline straight to one of these artifacts because I want to start the warp drive tech as fast as possible. So let's just send this guy straight here. Do not pass go, do not collect $200, just go straight there, get me those warp drives. Speaking of warp drives, I've almost got the energy collection now. After that, we're going to be working on shields, but as soon as I get the warp field precursors, we're going to drop these shields and go straight for the warp shield precursors and hopefully get that. As you can see, if you actually look at these, the warp speed is a lot slower for all of these. You actually don't even start busting into the more quicker ones. I mean, look at that. We're looking right now at already, what is it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in, and it's not even past. It's just hitting 9,500, whereas normally on the third one in and the vanilla, you're hitting 9,500 on warp speed. So that's where a lot of this has changed. And then you come all the way down here where things start getting pretty crazy, but that's where a lot of it's changed. Making warp speed a lot slower, which I'm happy with because that actually makes the, like I said, makes the beginning game go a lot slower, which means it takes longer for you to actually get to the ending game. So we've got Castellan here and hydrogen, very good. Pretty sure Castellan is our actual bumped my mic there, sorry about that. I'm pretty sure Castellan is what our fission reactors actually run off of. Can I actually click on this and see? Component guide. Yeah, Castellan. So that's actually our fuel for our reactors. So that is pretty useful to have that literally right there on top of us. Holy crap, is that useful. All right. Let's see. We should honestly send the second exploration ship straight here, just in case the other artifact is not the one for warp drives. We've already got somebody heading that way. Actually, although he could just make it that way because by the time he stops here and gets the special event, he's only going to be what, like right here? So it's really not going to be that much of a difference. I'm actually going to send him down here then instead. All right, we've got that armor plating. Not going to upgrade the ships yet because that's just going to be kind of pointless for me to do right now. All right, we've got that enhanced planet surveying. This breakthrough provides improvements to the existing component, so these components should already be upgraded to reflect that. And our first constructor has been finished. Now, if you actually take a look at our bonus income, you'll see, holy crap, 21,000, right? That's a lot. That's pretty useful. So that means that our private sector is actually starting to pump some ships out here. So we've got our state sector here, our private sector. Colony revenue, 87,000. However, they've given us 22,000. That's our spaceport income. Basically lending or me renting out the actual construction, the construction yards for the private sector to build their ships. You can see them all right here. A lot of, what do we got? They look like frigates, gas miners, and various resource miners. So that's pretty awesome. gives us a nice boost in income, which we're going to need. All right, so that's where we stand right now. We are at the end of this episode. Next time, we'll get a gas mining station constructed on Sol 1 there. Start mining some of those resources. Exploration ships moving out to kind of uncover and see what is inside of our solar system. Hopefully we find some really useful resources. This is a pretty good start. A really good homeworld, already looking at 4.3 billion. Having a fuel source literally right there next to our planet is going to be a huge bonus. So already a better start than my last playthrough. I think this is going to turn out pretty nice. And we'll see where we can take it from here. However, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.